We're very excited about the events today as we announce the commercialization of Techrete. This was technology that was developed here at the center in partnership with Minova, the National Institute of Hometown Security, and NIHS. We're particularly proud of this in that Minova is a company from Georgetown, which is just up the road from us, and so that has been an excellent partner to work with. Especially want to thank Representative Hal Rogers for attending and for his continued support of the center in projects like this. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jim Tracy, who is the Vice President of Research for the university. He leads the university's $368 million a year research enterprise and oversees many of the interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary centers like CAER.
Thank you, Rodney. Good morning. On behalf of President Eli Capilouto, who could not be here today, and indeed the entire academic community of the University of Kentucky, I want to thank you for joining us at today's press conference. One of my great joys of being a Vice President for Research and no longer wearing a lab coat is that I get to see what kind of great science and technology are developed at our university. And because of the technology developed by Dr. Tom Roble and his colleagues here at the Center for Applied Energy Research, in collaboration with their long-term partner, Minova North America, this morning we are announcing a significant milestone for the mining industry and disaster response teams. Techrete Fast and Techrete Fast M are high-strength, quick-setting concretes that achieve set and structural strength in minutes. The concrete is used by the mining industry and by civil engineers to immediately stabilize damaged structures. This is also a very good example of a public-private partnership between a local business and the flagship University of Kentucky that also includes participation of key leaders at the federal level. I especially want to recognize and thank Congressman Hal Rogers for his continued strong support for Eastern Kentucky and the University of Kentucky, the ongoing research and development that helps advance the mining industry and our energy economy, and his support for the Center for Applied Energy Research. I also want to welcome representatives from the Department of Homeland Security and the National Institute of Hometown Security in Somerset who are with us here today. Together, we have developed technology that advances essential Kentucky industries, creates a safer working environment for our emergency response teams, and indeed saves lives. The applicability of this technology goes beyond the borders of the Commonwealth, impacting the safety of response teams in any major natural disaster, a terrorist attack, or a devastating accident. I'm proud to note that this is the 150th anniversary of the passage of the Morrill Act, which created the land-grant university system. Justin Smith Morrill, Republican from Vermont, led the fight to create this act, which was signed by President Lincoln on July 2nd, 1862, in the darkest days of our nation's history. And so at a time like that, they had the vision to think about public higher education. And for most of us, without the land-grant system, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. This is the work of Kentucky's land-grant university. We serve the state with which we share a 150-year-old covenant. In the words of President Capilouto, we are advancing our Kentucky promise, continuing to shine as a bright beacon for the Commonwealth toward a better tomorrow. Thank you once again for joining us today for this important announcement.
Now I'd like to introduce Waverly McFarland, who is the Vice President for Minova North America. Mr. McFarland is Vice President of Marketing, part of Minova International, and is a global leader in offering mechanical, structural, and chemical-based solutions for underground mining, infrastructure, tunneling, and civil engineering applications. He's a graduate of Purdue University, his BS in microbiology from Emory University, and obtained an MBA in marketing. Mr. McFarland.
Thank you and good morning. On behalf of Minova and our parent company, Orica, I'd like to thank the University of Kentucky, Department of Homeland Security, and the National Institute for Hometown Security for selecting Minova as your industrial partner on this very significant project. As Dr. Tracy said, this is an excellent example of how government, academia, and industry can work together to solve a common problem that's pervasive in a lot of areas, both in an underground mining environment, but also in the disaster recovery and first responder environment. From a commercial standpoint, we believe that this product has a very bright future. It's currently undergoing evaluations in a number of locations in underground mining applications, and we just got word last week that we've got a civil engineering firm that would like to begin trialing this material. The feedback we're getting is very positive, especially from the miner standpoint. They like the ease of use, the ease of applicability, the fact that you can use less material than what's currently available for this type of application. And it really enhances the safety and productivity of the underground mining environment, which is one of the things that Minova strives for in all of our product offerings. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to the next chance to partner with UK and the federal government on similar type projects.
Next up will be Ewell Baltrip. Mr. Baltrip is President and CEO of the National Institute for Hometown Security. He was also the founder and executive of that organization. He's responsible for overall operations of NIHS, which seeks out and engages research and development opportunities that focus on protecting community-based critical infrastructure. The mission of NIHS also includes facilitating the commercialization and transition to use of the products resulting from these research and development activities. Ewell has been a great supporter of our program here. Mr. Baltrip.
Thank you, Rodney, and good morning, everyone. Before I get into my comments, I'd like to recognize some of our DHS guests who are with us today. First, I'd like to recognize Jeannie Lynn. Jeannie is the Acting Director of the Infrastructure Protection and Disaster Management Division of the Science and Technology Directorate of DHS. And yes, you can get all that on one business card. So Jeannie, we're glad that you're with us this day. Thank you for coming down and being with us. Also with us is Larry Skelly. Larry is our program manager and works with us on a daily basis and is absolutely dedicated to assisting us in doing our job better for DHS and for the nation as a whole. So Larry, thank you for what you're doing with us and for us, and thank you for being here as well. And also Paul Benda, who will have a more detailed introduction in just a few moments, but thank you, Paul, for coming down and being with us today. 8 years ago, the nation was building its Homeland Security protective net, expanding that net after the events of 9/11. Congressman Rogers was heavily involved in that effort at that time, as he was the first chairman of the Homeland Security Appropriations Subcommittee. He had a very difficult job. The Homeland Security Department was just being stood up, and he was in charge of making things work from a financial perspective. From that position, he advanced the idea that Kentucky universities should be more heavily involved in the research and development of finding new tools for Homeland Security protection, answering needs that we didn't even know existed just a few years prior that were brought out by the attacks of 9/11. NIHS emerged from the idea that Congressman Rogers had to have the universities in Kentucky more heavily involved in Homeland Security research and development. After 8 years of operation, NIHS has a record now of being a robust program that produces uncommon results. We have built a model technology development and deployment program that really hinges on 3 points of operation. First, we address needs that are identified by DHS. Our projects answer specific needs that have been vetted, identified, and advanced to us through a DHS process. Secondly, we engage the existing research and development capacity to address these new Homeland Security challenges. We do not need to reinvest in facilities such as this. Through our program, we engage and use the capacity that is already in place. And finally, NIHS assists with moving the research product out of the lab and into the marketplace where it does have usefulness and where it does add to the protective net that we have. In a nutshell, at NIHS, we manage a process that discovers, develops, and deploys Homeland Security solutions. As I said, NIHS engages the university community in Kentucky as its primary R&D asset, and UK has played a major role in our research program. Right now, there are about 15 UK projects in our current project portfolio. I'm really proud to say that 8 of these projects have resulted in new companies to market the products of R&D, or companies such as Minova have picked up the product and added those products to their existing market lines. We have other projects in process that I'm sure will have similar outcomes. The DHS investment in research at UK is about $25.5 million through our program. As the products move out of the lab, the return on this investment is still being calculated in terms of, first of all, new protective measures that respond to new challenges, in terms of enhanced resiliency of our critical infrastructure, and finally, in terms of economic impact, because as R&D is the engine of new economic development and of new economic activity. As we move ahead, we think that this return will contribute to a strengthened Homeland Security system. Thank you for having me here today. We appreciate the opportunity to work with UK and Dr. Roble, Dr. Andrews, and the group here at CAER. Thank you all very much.
Next up, I'm very happy to introduce Mr. Paul Benda, who's the Director of Homeland Security Advanced Research Projects Agency. Mr. Benda joined the Department of Homeland Security's Science and Technology Directorate in January 2010. He also serves as the Undersecretary's Chief of Staff, besides being Director of Homeland Security Advanced Research Projects. Prior to this, he was with the Department of Defense, where he was Director of Project Integration Office, following a career with the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory. Mr. Benda.
So one of the things that strikes me as I'm here is the number of people that have been so polite and welcoming and thanking me for coming. And frankly, what I need to get the message across to you is I need to thank you. Thank you for your hard work. The R&D aspect of developing technologies is actually the easy part. The hard part is transitioning those things. And I think NIHS, working with its consortium across the state of Kentucky, has found a secret sauce that works. Partnering with industry and getting these things commercialized is really the key to making our R&D investments useful. It doesn't do me any good to develop a technology that ends up in a lab and doesn't get used. And so you guys going out there and building those partnerships with industry, something you and your group need to be accommodated on, is the key to this. You know, one of the things that I look at, and from my past, I was a program manager at DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and I was funded to build the next generation protection system for the Pentagon. And then the Pentagon actually hired me over to implement that system over there. And it really struck home to me is that R&D part was the easy part. Even though I was in the Pentagon, even though I had the support of the Secretary of Defense and the funding to implement this new system, that change was really hard. And in the 4 years I spent there, I finally had gotten most of that system in place and the prototype in place. And so I just want to reiterate for you, as you look at those R&D projects, I need you guys to look to the future and see how is this stuff going to be commercialized? How is it going to be put into the field? How can I make a market for these products? You know, we at S&T have had our budget cut in the past year. It's a really tough year for the nation as a whole. We understand that. But as we look to the future, it really made us rethink how we do business. And we want, the challenge I have to you in the R&D community, the challenge I have you at NIHS, is to try and figure out where can we put our scarce resource dollars so that we get those partnerships with industry and with our other customers. How can we look at the new capabilities that are needed to protect our nation, but at the same time leverage the commercial needs that exist? I think Techrete is a perfect example. I think Minova has done the right thing by looking at the mining applications of Techrete. And quite frankly, the market is probably out there for the mining applications. We don't have that many disasters, thankfully, where we need this type of capability, but mining's an ongoing business. So leveraging that market that's needed for mining also creates the capability and the necessity and the resources to have a capability to protect us when disaster strikes. So where else do those opportunities exist? Is there a way that we can look at a smoke detector that exists in all buildings, on all floors, in all places, and use that smoke detector background as a biological sensor. No one's going to pay to have a new biological sensor, but they might pay for an upgraded smoke detector that could detect biologics. And so it's there waiting and ready when you need it. And that's the challenge I have to you, is as we look to the future, how can we figure out those ways, that those missions that happen on a day-to-day basis, and then tailor them and leverage them for technology investment. So that's really my main message to you. I do appreciate you, your hard work, Sam, your work in the past, the rest of the NIHS team, for you bringing this stuff to fruition. We cannot do our job without you. We cannot, the era of big government funding S&T through to full use is over. So how can we leverage the private sector? How can we leverage industry? How can we partner more? We've got some great examples where we're trying to do that with S&T in terms of a recovery transformer that not only will serve after disaster to bring back power, but can also stay in place so that there's a backup transformer if a place needs it. And we leverage around $9 million from a private industry group for that funding. And so I look to you, where are those opportunities exist that we can leverage that outside funding? Where can government come in and provide that seed corn to grow a new capability that can benefit not just the Homeland Security enterprise, but that commercial sector as a whole? So I think this is a great example. I look forward to working with NIHS in the future. I think you guys have a secret sauce there that we can leverage, and I hope to leverage that capability across different projects within the DHS enterprise. So again, thank you. I appreciate your hard work.
At this time, I'd like to introduce U.S. Representative Hal Rogers. He has served Kentucky's 5th congressional district since 1981. He's currently in his 16th term representing Southern and Eastern Kentucky and is the longest-serving Kentucky Republican elected to federal office. As chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, his focus is on reducing the size and scope of the government by reining in federal spending, conducting rigorous but thoughtful oversight of federal agencies, and restoring fiscal discipline and transparency to our budget process. Congressman Rogers was the first leader to the newly established Subcommittee on Homeland Security in 2003. Under his leadership were developed programs such as NIHS that were looking at how do we take the technologies in the universities and the small industries in states like Kentucky and turn them into solutions for national security. I'd also like to thank Congressman Rogers for his ongoing support of the university and for the Center for Applied Energy Research.
Rodney, thank you for the nice introduction. Congratulations to all concerned. This is the latest example of federal and local and educational institutions linking up together to solve a common problem that we have. When I chaired the subcommittee on Homeland, and we were attempting to stand up the department, unite 22 different federal agencies into a workable unit, it dawned on me and others that we were not yet capable of enlisting the firepower on our colleges and universities' campuses, the research capability of which the nation is blessed. And so we started the NIHS as a model of how we could try to utilize the intellectual firepower on these campuses married to a need that the nation had identified. Thus, this type of project. This is only one now of several that U of Altrip and Net Center, along with DHS, has brought to fruition. This product that we're talking about, Techrete, not in addition to being a commercially available product for underground mining, as has been said, gives us the capability in case of a natural disaster or man-made disaster of stabilizing buildings and the like while we rescue those inside. This is a real product. The idea behind NIHS was to engage the firepower on the campuses to problems that DHS had identified, but also as a side effect we hoped would generate some businesses from the private sector and create some jobs in Kentucky and other places along the way. And those products that NIHS has fostered with the department has proven just that. That's an extra bonus. So I'm pleased with the work of NIHS and the department as evidenced by this success story today. So this event celebrates the success of that research project and the commercialization of that product. Our first responders, I think, will probably be the biggest users of this product in due course of time. And I can see situations where we have a disaster involving buildings and the like that are unstable, and the rescuers cannot afford to go in until the building is somewhat stabilized. This gives us the capability within minutes of freezing that problem so that our rescuers can get into that structure or buildings and rescue people before it's too late. So this will be a life-saving product. That's what it's designed for. What other uses are found for it in the commercial world will be a bonus. But I want to congratulate the University of Kentucky on this project. NIHS charter requires them to seek out in Kentucky consortia of colleges and universities and link them together on a particular project, bringing to bear the particular expertise that that campus has. In this case, the University of Kentucky had the capability that was matched to the requirements of this project. So congratulations to DHS, to NIHS, to the university, and to the company that's moving this product out into the marketplace. You've done a great job, and we salute you. Godspeed.